Okay, so as you can see, I've already done 3 shocks. I'll show you the last one just here. It's been sitting probably for like 20 minutes or so now. As you can, or as I can see, I don't know if you can see it from there, but there's no air bubbles coming out whatsoever. So I'll sit that there. I've got to get this O-ring here, which even before I put it in, I'm just gonna lube it up a little bit. Won't hurt, just put a little bit of that oil on there. The oil's still gonna lube it up anyway when you press a bit out. So just make sure it's on there properly. It's gonna be all sitting right at the very bottom all around. I might even just get a little bit of oil out of there and just run it around that O-ring because I don't want to pinch it. Once you pinch it, you're stuffed. Your shock will start leaking from the top and you have to buy a kit or yeah, don't want to do that. So now what I do, I push this shock shaft up, probably about there, roughly, if you can see that. Don't want to turn it too much, I'm leaking all everywhere already. I might have to re-top this up. So I normally just go about there and then I just screw this on slowly. Just to make sure that I don't pinch the O-ring. Just slowly turn it in. But while I'm doing that, I'm still holding the shock shaft. And now I'm just running my fingers around just to make sure that O-ring isn't getting pressed out and pinched. And it's actually staying in there. So that's all in there pretty much. And yeah, then when you push it in, you want no binding and it'll come all the way fully out. Just like so. That's as far as it will go out. And it goes all the way in without binding, comes all the way back out again. So, now what I'm going to do, that's your front there. So next is the spring. Actually, I might wipe that down. Just double check that seal, make sure it's not pinched at all. Which it looks pretty darn good. Clean it up a bit. Because as everyone knows, the shock oil just attracts so much dust. I didn't double check these bottom bits. They're all tight, but just want to double check them. Yep, they're all tight. So now we just get your spring, sit over top, crimp it down a bit, like so. Done. And that's the shock done. So like I said, I am running 60 in the front, 100 in the rear. And hopefully these will be roughly the same. Yep, perfect. And they're roughly the same. Yep. Alrighty, I'll move that out of the way. Now, I'll show you what I've done. Because you just haven't seen the car. We don't need this anymore, but just don't forget about this tool. It makes life 10 times easier when you start doing, your little bore things at the end and your shocks and all that. It makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about, I used to use a rag, so like that, with pliers and try to grip the shaft. And yeah, don't need to do that anymore. It makes it a lot easier with using that. Don't need them anymore. Don't need that anymore. Just trying to clean off my bench, guys. Just bear with me for couple of seconds just so I've got a bit of room here because it's an absolute mess now. Don't think I need them, but they're just there if I do. Move that out of the way. Move the shocks out of the way. Okay, we need them. We need that. So I'll show you what I've done to the car. I did put the rod ends on, as you can see here. I've slowly adjusted it just so these here, they're not 100% straight as you can tell, but once I put the wheels on and start doing my camber, toe in, toe out, and all that type of stuff, I'll be able to just fine tune it with the tyres on there, be a lot easier. But at the moment, it's just done by eye, same with the rear. I've sort of done them by eye as well. But what I've noticed is the DR10 ends here clip on a lot tougher than what the DR10M ones do onto these balls. So they seem like they're the exact same part, but these just seem a bit tighter fit, which I actually like the tighter sort of a fit better than the lighter fit, if that makes sense. I understand why it wouldn't be why it's so easy to get them on, because I guess if you have a bad accident, these would just pop off and you shouldn't break too much stuff. But I ended up just using the DR10 ones here and put the DR10M ones as spares. So just to give you a heads up, that's what I did. So now we're up to, where are we up to? Fitting the shocks. Okay. So we'll do the rears first. That's your front. Put the fronts over at the front. I'll sit that in there. That should be alright like so. And I'm hoping that I can run this shock in the furthest setting, just because it works directly straight up and down. It's not buckling, and because as you work it on the, say on the side angle here, if you work it sort of say like that, it's easy here, but as you're going up, it's getting harder, which when it's straight up and down, it's always going to be roughly the same pressure, hopefully. I hope that's how it works, but to me, that's what it seems like. That's what it seems how it would work. Where's my... And as you can see, I've cleaned up and I haven't used my key. Alan, there we go. The 2mm. Hands are all slippery now, so I can't get the bloody things out. So just sit that on the rear, put that in the screw. That looks about right. True, it might be a bit stiff actually. Might have to loosen it off a bit. Might have even tightened that. There we go. That's about right there. That's better. So it's at least got a little bit of, I'll go a little bit less. Just so it's got a little bit of play. Do the other side while I'm going, and then I'll mount them both to the lower suspension arm. Actually, probably a bit more again. This one here's tightened up alright. What's wrong with this one here? It's binding up a little bit. This one here's gone in okay. Just this one here. See, that's free and that's seems too tight. Oh, I'll just run it like that. Guess we'll sort it out when we get there. So, let's have a look here where I'm up to there. M12, so these rear ones take us shorter. I don't know if I should put it in there or there. I might just put on the outside. I'm just going to put on the outside one and just see how it performs. It seems like the straighter sort of an option. The outside is, so I'm started off without. On the side just gingerly so I don't dislodge. This is just sitting in there. That's pretty smooth actually. That feels really good. Before I forget, I'm gonna charge. Oh my goodness, there's so many plugs here. Now, which one's for that? This one, I think. I just got to charge my drill up. I forgot to do it. It should be going now. Oh, okay. So it's charged. Okay. Might be just. Must have been like really tight last night, like trying to get it going. So I thought it was going flat, to be honest. So if I lift that up slightly, put that in the outside one. So you do have two options on the back of this, just the inner and the outside. I prefer it just on the outside. We'll see how it fits with the tyres. Because I know some cases, if you're using a wider tyre, you might have to move this in a hole. You might have to move that over a few holes or whatever else, but further out, more support. Well, not really support, but you get what I mean, like a bit more pressure towards the wheels, not towards the center. But I actually like how that feels. Oh, and pulled that off there. Actually, of course. Okay, so just realised my dog bone's out. Thought I'd put that in there when I put all these on, but mustn't have. Or I must have, but it must have fallen out. So there we go. Now that feels better. It turns very freely. And then that 500,000, you can actually feel it's pretty thick and a bit harder to turn. So now we're doing the fronts. So we'll just put these on the front here. I don't know if you're going to see that. Let me move some of this stuff. Spin it around for you. There and here. Even these fronts feel really good. Go in there. That will go into there, like so. Put this on, of course. Oh. Well, like I said though, hopefully this helps someone. And like I said, I'm no professional by any mean, but yeah, just like as long as you enjoy the hobby, I suppose it doesn't matter. And like I said, if you don't stuff up, you don't learn. And that's the other one. That's the other good thing about this hobby. You never stuff up because you can always fix what you've done wrong. If that makes any sense to anyone. Realistically, it's only a stuff up if you can't fix it. And hey, you can fix everything in this hobby. Like even if you stuff up something like say suspension or anything, a chassis, you haven't really stuffed it up because you can just go buy parts. Problem fixed. That's all. Them top nuts are going to be a little bit harder to get to, so I'm just going to bottom arm in at the moment. Till, you know what, I might be able to use, I can't even find where it is. I'll see if I can use something. Don't think it was going to be that size. Just smaller. If I can find where, there. Hopefully this here will fit, but I don't think it will either. It's going to be one of them, yeah, one of them bloody sizes. So what I'll end up having to do, because I don't want to damage the carbon fibre, but It's screwing in, but I'm rubbing against the carbon fibre here, if you can hear it. Or actually, I might be able to do it this way, hopefully. Alrighty, we've figured it out. So instead of trying to tighten up the nut, tighten up the Allen key at the other end. Or not the Allen key, but you get what I mean. That screw there. Tighten that up and you won't be turning this. And this will just hold that nut straight. Or even use pliers for the nut if you really wanted to. Sits pretty low actually at the front. May need like a spacer in there maybe inside the front shocks just to hold that front up a bit, just so it's not so hanging so low. Worry about that when we're finished. If need be, I'll let you know what I've done, but it just seems like it's hanging a bit lower. Like it's not as flat as my other one, but then again, it might change when I get everything positioned. If not, we'll yeah, I'll have to let you know. I'll put this front one on here. Nut. If you can hear that snoring, it's from my dog. He's asleep on his chair next to me. He's had a hard day, doing nothing, barking at nothing. My goodness. Put that on the furthest top out. And I'll just oh, it should be alright. I like my setups just a little bit lower. I don't like that much air getting underneath my cars, but it doesn't seem like it's sitting too bad. And we'll see when we put the wheels on and how I set it all up and all that type of thing, but we'll get there. Now I need this and this for this. Hopefully it works the same, which it is. And we'll push that back. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So it's just gripping hold of that nut, and I'm just turning the other side like this. And that nut automatically will start tightening up. It just seems like it sits a tad lower. Maybe with a bit of weight, it might actually, you know, with the with the receiver, servo, ESC and all that, it might compress it just a little bit more. So that there's done. Now we're up to, where are we? What part? Bag 12. 14. I'll probably get it last. What's that? That's 12. Bag 12. Okay, for the stabilizer bar. So we're slowly getting to the end of this build. Don't know if I'm going to show you me putting the motor and ESC and servo and all that on. Like, geez, if you don't know how to, if no one knows really how to do that, or you know, if no one's ever changed something like that in while they're doing the RC sort of thing. But I'll show you the whole finishing part of it. But I'm not sure about those front arms. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's sitting too low. It sort of is, but I sort of like them more flat than raised up like a buggy. I might I'll just sit the wheels on it just to have a look. I know it doesn't do much if you don't put the nuts in, but I just want to see how high it sits. Yeah, see how high it is at the front. Wouldn't mind dropping that lower, like a lot lower. so. Because that is pretty high. And then if I have the back wheels on, and it's pretty high off the ground, the front. If I can drop that, or I might change the front to, where is it? Just going through all my stuff, guys, because I know the front mount looks similar to the DR10. Where did I put that? Might be in the other bag, the other box. I wonder if I could put the DR10 front shock tower in, it would drop the front down just a bit. Just enough for it to, because it actually sits pretty freaking high at the front. But I'm wondering if because they look pretty similar. Here they are. There it is there. That's the front, is it? Yeah. That seems bigger too. So what I might do actually, I might off camera, what I'm going to do is that I might change it to the DR10. That's connected at the back. Just want to see if it would drop that nose just a little bit. If not, I may have to put a spacer inside my shock so it sits like that. So it doesn't sit as high, it sits a bit lower as well. But they look pretty darn similar. Just seems like these here are a bit longer, the arms. If you have a look in the camera, see with the arms, they seem a bit longer. So I might be able to fit them in there. And then that will drag that up on this higher sort of a setting. So I might give that a go off camera after I put all this extra stuff in, and then I'll show you this hopefully at the end if it's made a difference. I'll probably end up putting the wheels on. I'll probably just give it a quick measure and just gives us a bit of an idea. But yeah, we'll start with this anti-roll bar, as you can see there. So we need that. We need one of them. We need one of these. We need one of these. I think that's it. So I'll use my tool again, which I need it. As you can see, oh, may not be able to use it for this. The hole's a lot smaller and it's threaded. Okay, well that's a game changer, isn't it? Alrighty, so what I'm going to end up doing then is doing my old school way. So I've got to squeeze that into there. So I'll probably just have to do it old school way because it's got a thread inside of it too. So maybe if I do use that, I'll probably end up stuffing it, stuffing the thread inside of it. So I'll stick with just doing it this way like so, lining her up perfect. Oh, hopefully it's perfectly. Set it flush, in. Actually, that was a bit easier. So now, this here, we'll screw into these. Hopefully without an issue. Oh no. It's nearly the whole thread in there. So I might just give it a turn, just see if I can get the whole lot in there, the whole thread. But then that's roughly going to be roughly the same. And then that ball I don't know if I should clip it onto there now or after. It's telling me to clip it on there now. There's one big go, so oh my goodness, this is going to be fun. Oh, that's not going to do it. Just wondering how I'm going to get that onto there. Wonder if I can actually stretch. Might have to use my thicker pliers, but it doesn't want to like slide off as easy. Maybe. Don't know. Just gotta. Oh, got her. Okay. Get rid of that for a minute. That. Again, I wonder. No, I'll just do it again like so. So I'll just screw this into here again. Just lining it up so I don't cross thread it at all. Like so it's pretty straight. Or it is straight. And then just try to get all the thread in there. You can just see a little bit of thread still like before. I'll just do a couple of turns in so I can't see it, and then that should be roughly the same. Same sort of size. That's pretty darn close to me. So now, I'll do this side. So all I've done, I just sat it on here and just pushed down as hard as I bloody could. Oh! God damn it. Hands are going all red. Alright. Let's just give my fingers a bit of a rest, and hopefully we'll give it one last hurrah and get it in there, hey. Oh, got it, one last hurrah. So, now we need M3 by 12 mil. Oh, that's not M3, is it? M3 by 12. It is an M3 by 12. Okay. So this here will go through this hole, and I'll screw directly into there, but I'm not sure which way. Which way does it have to sit? Okay, so this here will be facing the nut looking bit will be facing towards the screw. Where's my... Need the 1.5. Yep. You know what I need for that? Like I kept forgetting, Loctite. This Loctite is absolute. Got rid of the blockage there the other day, and now it comes out like heaps. So I'm struggling to get some out, and now you just lightly touch and it just pulls out. So now I'll put that in there. And onto that. Oh. Okay. This wants to fight just a little bit. But it's in there. I wonder if I could use, where did I put that bloody thing again? Right in front of me. I wonder if I can use that to stop that from spinning. Stopped it a bit. There we go. That's tight enough anyway. Is that going to hit, is it? Saying to go above the dog bones, but it just looks like it's going to hit the dog bone. Unless it's going to be very bloody close. Oh, yeah, it's probably going to be very close. Oh, I don't know. Very, very close. It's not exactly going to hit on 3, but it's going to be very close. I'm wanting to, so just keep that in mind. So I don't know what you'll do if you go to 4 shims, unless it's got to go under the dog bones. But yeah, that's very close. Oh, that's a ton. I'll give you some of that on there. Just feed that into there. This dog must be so tired. Been sleeping all day, all night. I don't know. Sounds like he's bloody exhausted. Barking at nothing. I guess that'll wear anyone out, wouldn't it? Bloody hell. Listen to him. Okay, so now we're going to move all these little bits and grub screws and all that. Because we're going to be working on the back and top section now for the sway bar. Oh my goodness, it keeps in my way. So, where... There's so much stuff on my bench. I think half of it could pretty much go. Like, go. Too much stuff on here and I can't even find where my sway bar has gone. I know I would have sat it somewhere. Oh, it's still in there. Okay. So that will be on. That's in there. And that's in there. And that will go forward. Where would that sit? Oh, just there. Okay. Alright. If you can't see that, guys, that's where it's sitting, right there. But if you have a look on how close... Is that actually touching that or what? I may have to wind... Once I get them on there, I may have to wind them little ball joints up just slightly so it's not going to touch. So I'll put it on there and then what I'll do, I'll adjust the ball joint. I think honestly it's going to hit, so I'll wind it up after. I'll put all this in first, it'll probably be easier, and I'll just go through the tops here. So now, I need this one here. Does that go? Oh. Yeah, little bugger. Okay, so that. Try to line up the holes here. The holes don't line up, a whole line up on that side. Okay, so what do I need there to keep that on? Oh, then I've got to screw them both together. Oh my goodness, rightio. So I've got to sit that there. Should I grub screw that first? No. Alright. Bear with me guys, I'm just going to sit that in my lap. Hopefully you can still see this. Hopefully. Just got to sit that there. That bit there and there. Sit that directly on top. Now, don't you push that out, you little bugger. There's that. Right there. And there's that. And that's going into, oh my goodness, that's going into aluminium. So need more Loctite. Hopefully I don't load this one up too much. Oh, it's too much. No, this I've got Loctite on my bench to do the other view. So if I can just screw that in there, just enough just to make it grip. Like so. Load up this here. Like so. Just give it a little screw in there. I'm not going to overly tighten it just yet. Just enough just to hold it into place. So if I need to, I'll be able to slide that. I need a little bit more. I'll clean my bench off now. Like that I'll have, because Loctite doesn't really go off. It only goes off when there's no oxygen. And that's why it goes off on the thread. So you can have Loctite, like it will dry, don't get me wrong, but not as fast as it would if it had no oxygen. That's why it locks in with the thread, if that makes any sort of sense. So that's why you're really in no hurry when you use Loctite. Like, I mean, saying no hurry, I mean like you can leave it out for a little bit without having to worry about it going off that fast. Because I'll show you. This will give you an idea. See, that was from, not to lie to you, that was from last night about 11 o'clock. And look, doesn't go off. So it's still wet. But when it's got no oxygen getting to it, that's when it goes off and yeah, does what it's got to do. And that locks the thread. So it's amazing stuff. So if people didn't know that, well, a bit of useless information, I'm guessing. So, or not useless, you don't use it every day, but it's a little bit of information if you didn't know. That's why it doesn't matter if I leave the lid off that Loctite all day, all night. It will eventually go funny if you leave it off, but yeah, like I said, it's not going to go off, you know, if you leave it off for like 2 hours or whatever else, that's all. Alrighty, so that's on at the moment. Now I've got those grub screws that have to go on, but I might see if I can raise these up a couple of turns. Turn them up 6, so if I go turned them up 6. it's got a bit more of a gap, but I might have to turn it up just a little bit more maybe. Might have to go probably another 2 turns just to really get it away from there. Probably, yeah, that's a bit better. I went another 4. I went another 4 with that one there. And as you can see now, it's still gonna freaking hit it, isn't it? What about this side? Yeah, might have to go another couple of turns. Still wants to hit it. It just wants to hit it when the wheel oh, that's better. That will bottom out and then it will hit the... Okay, so that's adjusted. Now we've got grub screws. Good old grub screw. And that's gonna hold the top of the bar in place, and it's gonna do the bottom at the back as well. So I'll just tighten this up. Like I said, just try not to over tighten it, guys. Just to keep it there. It's not gonna fall. It's not gonna pull out due to being bolted at the back as well. So it's just a precaution thing, I reckon. Just to make sure it stays there. So that's it in there too. I might be able to do probably another turn or 2. There we go. Feel that binding up a bit. And then in the back as well, right in the center. You need to put these as well. One there. There's my Loctite again. And one just there. Okay, so now we're up to the wheelie bar. But what I might do here quickly is what I might do before I do the wheelie bar, I might see how high these are. How high this is off the ground at the front, and I might change that front shock, the front shock tower. Let's see here. Oh no, I might use my roller. So the front off the ground is just over 2.5 centimeters. Just say 2.5 centimeters off the ground. Where I'd prefer it probably around the 2 centimeter mark, probably under 1.5 centimeters would be good. But that's 2 centimeters off the ground. So I might just pause you for a sec, take this off, put this one in, and just see if it makes a bit of a difference. What's the length of that? Okay. Height. So just bear with me. This will only take you a second. This will take me probably 15-20 minutes. So just bear with me and I'll be back in a sec.